And hello, our viewers. Welcome once again to this exciting episode. My name is Ruth Wairimu, and this is my sign name. And I have my sign language interpreter, Kendi, who is a very beautiful girl, and I'd like to welcome all of you to this show. I'm so happy and I'm really appreciating our interpreter today. So that aside, allow us to start this show. This is the classroom show where we're going to discuss matters about education, how someone got to get to learn, how they advocated for themselves, and where they are at now. Today, I'm so excited to have a guest with us who is ready to share her story. I hope it gets to motivate all of you for you to know how she was able to get educated. So, allow me to welcome our guest, and she can actually tell us her name and for us to get to know our girl. So, welcome so much. Please tell us your name.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Hello, viewers. So my name is Maureen Anna, and that is my sign name.
Wow, as you see, we have a very beautiful girl with a very beautiful hairstyle. She's really looking adorable. I think I would even want to copy her hairstyle. And she's shown us her sign name, as I've just shown all of you. So today we're going to be discussing how she got to learn, maybe where she went to primary school, if she had any challenges, if it was hard for her to learn, how she advocated for herself until she grew up. We want to know if she was comfortable, if the school was flexible, and I'll allow our guest to tell us more about all that.
Okay. So when I was in school, in primary school, I was in Kajiado Primary School, and the school was very amazing because in that school we had very many deaf teachers who could teach us, and we could be able to understand the concepts. But now when I moved to high school, then it became a little bit challenging because Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4, my confidence started dwindling. So when I joined Form 1, I normally could volunteer in class during lessons so that I could answer questions. But outside was a different story because outside I wasn't as confident. So we had a teacher who helped me, improve on my self-confidence. And in moving to Form 2, then I could notice the change in me because I was more self-confident, and I could take a leadership role. But also there was a big problem because we had the hearing teachers in high school were more than the deaf teachers in high school, that is. So the deaf teachers, for deaf teachers we only had one teacher, but the hearing teachers were very many because you see sometimes when the hearing teachers could, some could speak, teach while speaking and signing, but most normally, just try to, most spoke rather than sign, and that made it very hard for me to understand. So I had to rely on the help of my other, schoolmates to be able to, help me with with my studies in order to improve. But this was also a challenge because remember I am deaf, and the other hearing students, don't know how to use sign language. So the setup in the school was in a way that we were a mixed school, yes, but the classes for the deaf students were different from those of the hearing students. So I had to rely on other students, the hearing students, to be able to help me with mathematics, because mathematics was a very big challenge for me personally. I found it very difficult. And so because I had no other option, I tried to, talk to a hearing student who I had to literally beg in order for them to, kind of assist me with the revision and with my studies. So they taught me a little bit, and that is how, and I went back and tried to, study on my own, take back what I've been taught, and I continued improving. And I was very grateful to that student because he or she really helped me a lot. But then later on, things started to dwindle down again because I was really concerned with the life after high school. I was wondering what was I going to do after I was done with high school. Because you see, the life was very difficult. And after high school, I decided to start a business. That was plating. I did one, two, three customers, and then things just fell apart. And I thought of going back to school at that time, but school was equally as difficult as life out there. So I decided to join tailoring so that I could be able to learn and become an expert. Then later on, I also joined basketball, but I also continued training in order to improve my confidence again. But then it was really hard for me during that time, to find a way
Wow.
to go back
As you've
to
seen,
school.
the journey has not been an easy one. She's really tried to advocate for herself, getting hearing students to teach her mathematics for her to understand and improve her studies. It just shows us that it was not an easy journey. Sometimes when the teacher will do more of talking and they're teaching the deaf children, it was quite hard. And sometimes deaf children get to be selfish, and that just shows us it has not been an easy journey. As you can see, when people get to say deaf people cannot really understand deeply, that's wrong. But if you get to teach them so well, mathematics, English, social studies, all these other subjects, when you get to teach them so well, they can share with one another. And if you get rid of the selfishness, everything becomes perfect. When we're teaching maybe sign language, when we teach you sign language, then in future you can even become an interpreter. You help the
Yes,
deaf
that
people
is
out here.
true.
It's about helping one another, not about being selfish. But if we improve each other, then in future we get to have the best times. As you can see, our guest has even shared how she wasn't even confident in class. For example, she can even tell us when she went to be a volunteer in class, maybe in line, how on a Monday she will show up and when she will relax on holidays. And then Monday she's back in school. I would like her to tell us more about how she was able to be picked as a prefect and how she worked around that and how that even helped her, because you being a prefect, having to stand in front of all the students and help them make the line, that must not have been easy. Please tell us more about that.
Okay, so as Ruth has said, asked how I gained the self-confidence. Remember when I first joined, when I was in Form 1, I was more confident in class than outside. So I had a private discussion, with my teacher who helped me, gain my confidence. And they told me that if I was, confident and my self-esteem was strong, I could be able to, influence other students, and they could in turn want to, be like me. And that's why I went through with the confidence all
Wow.
through Form 4, where I
Very,
became the
very
captain.
interesting how she moved from Form 1, Form 2 to Form 3, and how she even ended up being the captain in Form 4. That is so much interesting. So tell us, where did you go after high school, college, university? Where did you join? How did you even continue with your life later? Please explain that to us.
Okay, so after I finished Form 4 last year, I'm now currently waiting to join college, but I haven't applied. So currently I've decided to have my own business, plating. That is, I'm continuing with it, and then later on I will join college. But currently, right now, what I'm
Wow,
doing, I'm working as a
nice.
salonist.
And now she is a proud person and she's proud of herself because she even has a business going. And you can say she's even ready to join college and she can continue to thrive higher and higher and higher. So we have a lot of departments, true, where we have making clothes or making hair. The departments are so many, and we would like to know where her heart is at and where or what she would like to study, because we would like to know her flexibility. Please tell us, what do you want to go to study, or where do you even want to join, or what work do you want to do? Please tell us more. And if you
Yes,
also want to get your hair
yes,
done, you can
very true.
actually even join us and have that, because we have so many people who are making hair out here and they're doing a very, very good job. And if you find it difficult to communicate with her, you can have someone like an interpreter helping you guys communicate. And
Yes,
that's
yeah.
so, so true. Now I'd like to discuss about something. For example, tell us how you get to communicate with your family, because sometimes you find a deaf person but born in a family of hearing people. How do you even get to interact with them? How has that been growing up? Please tell us how your journey has been.
No, okay. So when I was born hearing, but as life continued, I became sick, and my mother, tried to, care for me during that time, tried to take me to different hospitals. This was when I was 3 years. They did try, but then later on, I became deaf. And when I became deaf, it became a really big challenge, to accept and to communicate as well. So later on, I was taken to primary school, but there was a big communication barrier. That's why I decided to, they decided to change schools. But then again, this was, I had to commute, to this school, and that became a very big challenge. By good luck, my uncle, came in handy, and he was with the board, and they helped to, get me into the school. And my mother knows how to finger spell, but signing is very difficult for her because she's always busy, and my mother is always working and always working. So my mother can finger spell, and my brothers and sisters, I have total 5 siblings. Two can sign. Others we are still, trying to, others were still trying to learn sign language. Firstborn is married. Secondborn, we can communicate, can speak, and that has been very good. But that's how we've grown together,
Interesting.
as a family.
That is very, very interesting. Sometimes we find situations where parents can't learn sign language and it's somehow challenging. At least they got to learn finger spelling and it's quite difficult. But if a parent has a deaf child, it's very important not to ignore the language. It's very important for them to get to learn sign language, and that shows acceptance of the children in the heart, and all the concerns that we have with communication directly to our children, they can easily be resolved. So really thank God because of the blessings which He gives unto us. A family of 5 children, as our guest has told us, that is quite interesting. And all of them learning sign language, and they can explain everything around them to her. Not her being left out. If any conversation is happening, she is fully involved because the family actually knows sign language. And this actually creates opportunities outside the family level. And if you have other siblings who are deaf, that is very, very interesting, and it's much better because we as deaf people have to communicate using our hands. And that's
Yes,
just
that's true.
how we get to communicate easily. Sometimes hearing people even come, they want to learn sign language, they're doing attachments, and that's so interesting. And if you even take a week, you learn Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are the days of the week. It becomes so interesting because you'll be remembering and it's going to make the communication so interesting. I really like how sometimes hearing people get to enjoy when they learn sign language. And if they get to ask signs of different things, example, a chair, a TV, And I really like how they get to really enjoy the language. It's really interesting and motivating. And when they come for attachment, it's very nice because they improve their skills, and in future they get to help a lot of deaf people in bridging communication. So now, please, as you can see, our girl here, she has told us how her journey, and how the sport that she plays, which is basketball. Maybe she can tell us more about how she even got to the sport itself.
Yes, so I learned basketball back in 2016 when I was young. I had a teacher who liked basketball and taught me. I also loved football at the same time, but basketball was a favorite. I continued with that until 2017. I've continued training since then, and in high school, I was disappointed, because we didn't have a field for basketball. We only had a field for volleyball, but we didn't have a school place to play basketball. So I was disappointed, but at the same time I had to accept the situation. So after I finished exam, I didn't wait. I joined training basketball, and then I was part of the list. I was always in the squad to play, and I've never given up with basketball. I am I am more skilled in basketball, and even women can play basketball just the same. You have to All that is important is believing in
Wow,
yourself.
motivating and interesting indeed. And her life has actually been a very interesting journey. And I believe soon I don't think she will be giving up on basketball anytime soon, because this is something she's really built slowly, and I know she has a very good future on it. She's going even to be traveling all over the world playing basketball and having a very good time. I really want to give that as a motivation to all the deaf people out there. If you're feeling comfortable in a particular sport, please, you have to motivate yourself. As our guest has told us, she loved the sport ever since she was young, and she's really built herself to make sure she's built the confidence. And at the same time, she's also said she didn't want to give up on her sports, and that's the right thing to do. Once you learn it, you get to learn the balance. School, you put it first, and sometime you go and practice everything. So sometime if you can balance education at the same time, sports and your love for sports, that will be the best thing. If you're not really failing on exams, that's the best thing to have. Now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more.